All right, babies, it's that time again. Oh, yeah. Goodness surrounds, baby. Oh, yeah. Goodness surrounds and goodness abounds. It's just where you put your attention, sweeties. Now, people will say when they hear that, they'll say, well, that's what you're experiencing. You're just experiencing what you want to experience. So you put your attention on something positive, so you experience something positive. No. The life of Jesus is a little bit more than that, baby. You can't throw Jesus in with all the positive thinkers, because he demonstrated much more than that. Yeah. And so what we do is we align ourselves with his purpose. And by doing that, we discover we're not alone. It's hard for people to understand it who haven't been through it, but Christians who really trust God have a unique experience of feeling his presence. And that's what I'm talking about when I say put your attention on him, trust him, and watch how quickly you start moving in a strong and purposeful way. And you know it's not from yourself. You know, you don't go from not really feeling like, dealing with whatever you're going to deal with in the day, and you're kind of grumpy about it, but as soon as you say, no, that's not who I am more than that in Jesus, and I'm going to submit to the life of God in me, and then get this marvelous new direction and power. Yeah, baby. I don't know any humans who are able to manufacture that kind of power. I really don't. So the goodness is in God. The goodness is because of God. And God manifests himself in so many ways. I really get tired of hearing about people who are creating divisions between themselves and those who are different than them. Because when it comes right down to it, more often than not, we have many things in common with each other. Now, I'm not talking about the foolishness of politics with the extremes. I'm not talking about that. Because extremes are extremes. There's not a lot you're going to find in common between extremes. However, if you push me on it, they are there. Freedom, choice, opportunity, peace, But when it comes to religion and different faiths, what are we arguing about, people? Why is there violence when we're talking about love? Right? Makes no sense. Yeah, of course, there's so much history behind the violence of people who just believe differently. And really, when it comes down to it, what difference does that make? How is it that you live your life? Because that belief is just an internal thing. But how you live your life, the choices you make, how you're sowing seeds of peace and problem solving in the world. If you just look at people's behaviors, for the most part, you can't tell what they believe, other than they value what they're committed to if they're doing good for society. So why are we all bent out of shape of, oh, you don't believe Jesus is coming back? Or, oh, you don't believe Jesus was bodily resurrected? But if you look at the person's life, they might be more loving than those who are being critical, and often are. So I'm just like, really, I'm just tired of just even considering the conflict and the unnecessary divisions, because there's so much at stake that's ours for the asking by just focusing on values that produce growth personally and for social groups in the world at large. So I happen to be looking in Exodus today. Oh my gosh. And it just blows my mind that the world is like so screwed up, largely because people think these ridiculous stories are true. And it gets them into this crazy mindset of believing everything in the Bible. Like, oh yeah, God's in favor of genocide. Oh yeah, slavery's good. Oh yeah, women are property. Uh-huh. Oh my God. And if you could recognize those problems, then there's probably other problems. Like, for instance, the 500 to 600 laws in the Old Testament that just have absolutely nothing to do with the betterment of the individual and or society at large. Zero. So you think that might be just a human manufacturing? You think it might be? However, every time I criticize the Bible, people, think I don't value anything in it. And that's totally incorrect. Because my life has been, for 47 years, been patterned on those parts of the Bible where we have evidence of usefulness. Trusting in God and watching your life change. Sometimes circumstances, most often just your internal growth. God is forever wanting to get us to prioritize our personal growth. Oh yeah. And that's why, when I run across some Hindu things or Buddhist things or Taoist things or atheist things, I look at what's the content of what they're saying. And oftentimes I find it to be aligned with what I'm experiencing and what I value in the Bible because of who Jesus is and what Jesus's mission was. He reduced everything down to just loving yourself and others, loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving yourself and others. So why are we fighting people? Oh, my Lord Jesus. Thankfully, there's some of us who have a clue. We are changing the world. Oh, yeah.